welcome to the Out on Active Health Show with your host, Khalil Smith. And I
Absolutely. Well, I'm Danielle McGee, as you mentioned. I'm the CEO of Black Business Boom, Black owned Nashville. Originally from Chicago, I've been living here in Nashville for about 6 years now. Actually, I think today is my sixth anniversary. And I am also a professor at Tennessee State University, where I teach entrepreneurship. My life really centers around providing resources for Black owned businesses, making sure that we have everything we need to thrive, and especially when it comes to thriving online in the digital economy. So I've been a business owner myself for about 10 years now. Like you said, I started my first business in 2012 in Chicago. I opened a Spatique. I also have had a personal chef service in Chicago, a few other ventures, and then that all led me to Black Business Boom and Black Owned Nashville. And really, I was led to do this work by a lot of the struggles that I experienced as a business owner myself, and wanting to make sure that I was providing solutions for other Black business owners that were experiencing those issues as well. And so when I launched my first business, I really thought, because I have an MBA, my undergrad is in management and marketing, I thought that I could successfully run a business, not knowing that there's a lot of foundational stuff that you won't get from a textbook or you won't get in a classroom at a university. And so it really has become my goal to make sure that I'm providing opportunities, resources, exposure, and everything I can to make sure that Black business owners are supported and have what they need to really build wealth in their families.
Okay. Yeah, you've been doing it for a while. You said spa. What started? Like, why did you start off with that business?
Yeah, so I was working a job. Fresh out of undergrad, I went to be a banker. And I was a banker for 5 years and really felt like it was time for me to move on, do something else, and found myself in industrial supply sales. So that means I was on the phone selling nuts and bolts and all type of things to people who have industrial type of companies, big manufacturing plants, all kind of stuff. And I quickly knew that was not the place for me. They quickly knew it too. And I felt like, I stayed there for about a year, but I was really like, I got to get out of here. And I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. And I remember it like it was yesterday, that I was on the phone, irritated about work, driving home in traffic. And it was a mess just getting home. And I was on the phone talking to my mother, and I was like, we should open a spa. Like we just love spas. Like we love going to the spa. Neither of us have any experience as far as doing nails or massages or anything. But I was like, we should open a spa. And my mother was like, we should. And then we just started moving forward with doing that, and we learned a lot of hard lessons in that journey. And so again, that's one of the things that really led me to the work I do today, because there were just unnecessary hurdles. I feel like there were just so many things we didn't know. And I know that there are a lot of other folks that struggle, in the same ways. And we spent a lot of money, to learn those lessons. And so for me, if I can keep anybody else from making those same mistakes, then the work I do every day is worth it.
Before I get to my next question, what are 3 pros and cons you learned from that first venture with your mother?
I'm gonna start with the cons because they come to mind a little faster. So, con number one thing that I learned, be very careful about going into business with people who you love. Or any partnership, really thinking about, what that partnership is and how it can impact your friendship, your relationship, your, whatever it is. And so I always, when I talk to my students, I always urge them to really be careful and be mindful about partnerships. And, I love my mother to death. She's one of my very best friends, but, every conversation we had turned into business. And so then that happens a lot of times when you have a partnership with someone, that you love. Another thing is really being mindful of all of the regulations for the city or state that you work in and that you're open to business in. So one of the main things that we ran into is that we moved quickly, found a space. We didn't know anything about zoning regulations. And so the space that we leased was borderline Chinatown, and they had a lot of issues with massage parlors and happy endings and whatever else. And so we were not, when we went to go get our business license. So we signed the lease, then went to get the license backwards. I know that now. But we didn't think it was going to be a problem. But we found out quickly, like, we weren't going to be able to offer massages in our spa. And we spent a year, back and forth to hearings and with aldermen and all these things, trying to be able to just open the doors and offer massages. I would say the other thing is, again, which leads me to the work that I do, is have a marketing plan and have a marketing budget. We struggle, although, my background in undergrad was in marketing, and I had gone to school and I had taken online marketing when I did my MBA. It still was a struggle to get people through the doors. And I'll throw in a bonus. Don't quit your job until you can sustain your lifestyle with your business. And so that was something that I learned. I left my job. I was ready to leave that job anyway. We opened the spa. And it was a struggle for a year and a half of me trying to be full-time in this business and not letting my pride get the best of me. I didn't want to go back to work because everybody knew that I started this business. And so, but I eventually had to, and learned a lot of lessons in that. On the flip side, I learned a lot of great things. Learned a lot more about digital marketing, online marketing, how to use it to drive business. I also learned partnerships and the importance of partnerships. And those can be partnerships with other businesses when it comes to driving traffic or driving business, but then also partnerships that just make the business operate better. So, we had a partnership with a person down the street to let us use their parking lot, for the people who were coming to the spa. So, just thinking about how you can use partnerships and leverage other people to help your business and think outside the box. And then also I would say I really learned teamwork, and the importance of having a team and people that are reliable, that support you in your business. We thrived in having spa parties. This is one of the points in my life where I really learned how to work smarter, not harder. And so I figured out quickly, we had space where we could host, 20, 30 ladies at a time in kind of our front waiting area. And so we decided that the best use of our time was for us, especially after I went back to work, to host parties on the weekend, because we could get 20 ladies and all at a flat rate, and get the staff, again, the team members in to service them. And it was a lot easier than us having to fill up the books all during the week. So but yeah, I would probably never have a brick and mortar business ever again. That's just how I feel about it after doing it for 5 years. But I found ways to think outside the box and stretch myself and stretch my imagination in order to make my business work for me. And that's something that I think all business owners need to challenge themselves to do.
I want to add to that. So how important do you think digital marketing is at this time of age? I know you say you don't want to do a brick and mortar
yeah. So my business now, we teach Black-owned businesses how to do digital marketing, how to leverage digital marketing to grow their business. And it's the most important thing to me. I feel like there are tons of things you got to do as a business owner. But if you don't have an online presence, especially as we navigate and come out of this pandemic, it's likely that you've suffered some or you've not reached your full potential. And so again, I think it's of the utmost importance to have a strategy around how you use digital marketing to grow your business, whether it is a brick and mortar or a digital or e-commerce business or a service. You really almost have to have a hybrid like approach to doing business these days. I was asked that recently, did I feel like every business needed some sort of digital component? And I do. I think that it's a smart way to diversify revenue streams. People want to do things online. They want to do them quick. They want to do them in a convenient way. And we have to meet the needs of consumers. And so, again, it's another way to drive revenue. And I think even if you have a restaurant, you need to make sure that your online presence is strong and that you are thinking about what your digital strategy is for growing your revenue.
Okay. Let's say we have an entrepreneur watching right now and they're afraid to go to online because they like the presence of customers, talking to them, engaging with them in that way, even though they're probably not going to get their maximum potential as income wise. What tips would you give them to treating them into going to the online?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a complete shift. I challenge that person to start to think outside the box about what part of their business can go digital, even if you're just thinking about something like a loyalty marketing platform, or which is a lot of times our businesses do thrive on interpersonal sales and having that communication one-on-one and knowing our customers. But imagine how you can grow your business if you can have those same relationships online, in person and online, right? And how that online relationship can now expose you to everyone in their network as well. Because when I teach people about marketing, my main thing is like, how do we get way past, we got to get the awareness, which some people are just struggling with that initial stage of getting awareness about their business. But then there are others that, they got the awareness, they've got the conversions. But the most important thing to me is how do we then take those conversions and turn those customers into loyal customers and brand champions. Those are the folks that that's how you can really grow your business. And it's so much cheaper because a lot of Black-owned businesses do have limited marketing budgets. It's a lot cheaper to invest your marketing dollars into getting return customers or helping to use your existing customers as brand champions than it is to get a brand new customer through the door. And so, again, it doesn't have to be that you are creating digital products or even have online ordering. Although, again, most people want to pick up their phone, do things quick, easy. Everybody's in a rush these days, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. But for business owners, it's just important that we don't have to care so much about what we do. We need to stop caring so much about what we like. Us liking to interact with customers, that's not important. What's important is how our customers want to interact with us. And so we have to take ourselves out of the equation in many cases and think about things from the perspective of our customers or our potential customers.
Oh, that was a gem right there. Take the way we fill out the conversation. I like that.
Many times we're not our ideal customer as well. So we're not even our target market. So now if I had a business where a mid-30s Black woman that lives in Tennessee was my target customer, then maybe I need to think about things from my perspective. But if I'm trying to reach, men that are of a certain age living in Dallas, then I got to think about how they feel and what drives them to make purchases, not what I think drives them to make purchases. And we have to find ways also to gather that data and to understand our target market a lot better.
Yeah, you're totally correct, and I agree. Before we talk about Black Business Boom, I want to talk about the partnerships. So a lot of people get in partnerships for the wrong reasons. So I want to know, what do you look for in a partner? Like you said, a parking lot. Now that's value for you. Like, what other things do you look? Because some people might get a partner for somebody just to talk with, and that could be the wrong reason. Or they can get somebody for just money, or they can get somebody with marketing experience, social media experience. What are your take on that?
Yeah, I think that every time I examine a partnership, it's looking through the lens of it being mutually beneficial. How can we help each other? So I can't go into a meeting with a potential partner to talk about how I need their help to accomplish whatever it is I want to accomplish. Again, I have to look through that lens of what's in it for them. I think that that's really important. Sometimes we're saying we're looking for partners when we're really looking for help. And that's a sales conversation. Like, that's a different conversation when I'm trying to sell you on something that's going to cost you time or money, but benefit me, because there's nothing for you to win in the situation in most cases. So we have to think about, when we think about partnerships, really examining our business. Is it really going to be beneficial for us? Is it really going to be beneficial for them? How is it going to operate? Getting all those things down on paper, making sure that the roles are extremely clear. Who's going to do what, how they're going to do it, when they're going to do it, who's going to fund it, what does that look like? So, but as a business owner, before we even go out and start to have those conversations, we really just need to get very clear about what our needs are and what the needs are of that partner before we even approach somebody talking about a partnership, and sometimes it is a one-sided partnership. It just ends up that way. We have corporate partners that help fund the work that we do. There are some benefits for them, but really, to me, it's a win-win-win, because them funding the work we do, it definitely helps Black Business Boom and allows us to be able to thrive as a for-profit business. It helps the Black business owners that we provide training and services to. And our major corporate partner, they could get a lot of shine publicly for helping us to do this work if they wanted to. So it could look really good for them to be supporting Black businesses in this way if they wanted to put it out there. They choose not to. They really are in it to do good work. But it could be but it helps them in some other ways. But we'll get into that. but again, it's just all about finding ways that we can help one another and be mutually beneficial.
What tips would you give the entrepreneur that's looking right now, who's a solo entrepreneur? They just started. They think they could do it all themselves. What tips would you give them if they need a partner or they're looking for it? Because some people are afraid to engage with other people because they want all the credit, and they put all their blood, heart, and sweat, tears, whatever into it.
That's an ego thing. That's a pride thing, and it's going, it's going to stunt your growth. And so I think that it's important to ask for help and to look for ways to go further. I'm all about going further together. And so I would tell that person to either think about what partnerships can help you to excel, but also think about what team members can help you to excel. I just had a conversation with a young lady last week who works a full-time job, and she also has a candle company. And I'm like, somebody else could be pouring them candles. Like, a lot of times we don't want to pay somebody because we look at it as a loss. But I'm like, you could pour a lot more candles. You could have candles being poured while you at work if you have somebody who you could pay to do it. And then your job is really to bring in the business and to sell the candles. And so many times we are sitting here trying to do everything ourselves, thinking that it's going to save us money by not paying for labor, but it's really costing us in the long run. So it's important for us to really know our worth also, and the worth of our time. Like, if I can spend my time doing anything that can help bring business into the company, that's where I need to be spending my time if I'm going to call myself a CEO of the company. I cannot spend my time doing the tedious tasks that have to be done as well. And so sometimes you do have it takes some time to onboard people and get it to the point where they really are paying for themselves. But, it can happen, and it needs to happen. If you're trying to build a scalable business, you're going to have to build a team. I could very well run all of our programs, teach all the classes, do all the services, do all the coaching. Me and my partner, we've done it before, and we were tired. We did not have the best delivery when it comes to quality. And so it was important to me as CEO to say, I have to step out of role of facilitator, marketer. Like, I need to step into role of how do I go out and get the money, you can build the partnerships, get the contracts, and how do I bring in other facilitators, other marketing coaches, other people to do the services. So we just got to get out of our own way in a lot of cases and find the help that we need and be willing to invest in it.
I love that response. You value your time, get out your own way, and you don't want to burn yourself out at the end of the day. And just paying for that help.
I am all about building a life I want to live, and I think that's important for me as well. And it kind of this journey into like truly being the CEO of a company is I have no interest in working 40 hours a week. And if I did, I would just work a job. Like if I really, and definitely if I wanted to work 80 hours a week, I would work a job. Like, I was making well over $100,000 before I quit my corporate America job. I could have just done that, and done this on the side a little bit to make a little side money, but I'm like, I'm all in on creating the life I want to live for myself. And that life looks like me getting up at 10 a.m. and doing, and spending a few hours working every day, and so I got to set myself up to get there to that life that I truly want to live every day. And that's one of the reasons why I say I'll never have a brick and mortar, because I really don't like to be tied down to a particular space. And I like to be able to get up and travel whenever I want to. And when you have a brick and mortar, you just can't do that.
Do one more question, since you talk to a lot of owners. Let's talk about SOPs. So, what do you think that is?
Ooh, that's an important one too. And we don't want to talk about it. I tell you, we do not want to deal with that. And so I have a team now, and my team writes up our SOPs. I need for if I am sick, incapacitated, out of town, dead, whatever happens, I need for Black Business Boom to be able to continue on. It's my legacy. And so it cannot, if everything is on me, if I'm trying to do all the things, and if I'm not at the very least documenting it when I do all the things, then my company can't live on and it can't function without me. And so it is a painful process especially when you are used to doing all of the things yourself. Even transitioning to getting the help is like, I could just do this myself. The 15 minutes it takes for me to document and teach them how to do it, I could have just done it myself. And again, it's about creating legacy, creating something that can function without you. And so having those SOPs, documenting things, having documents and SOPs and everything stored somewhere where someone can get to them, it's all extremely important. And again, I empathize, because again, it's a painful process. It's not easy, takes time, and it can be frustrating. But if you do it, it can make your life so much easier. Like, I had a team meeting today. We're tightening up a SOP, and we just ran through it. Now, I know after this meeting and us tightening up that process and having it documented, that my team is going to handle it going forward, and it's taking hours off of my plate. So super important. And I just, again, I know that there's so many things that we have to do as small business owners. but many times you just have to take a step back to do some of these things that we feel like are tedious. But if you take that step back and spend the time doing them, once those things are in place, you really can see exponential growth.
Yeah, it's all about keeping the progress. I mean, the quality is the same, depending.
Mhm.
Well, not necessarily having one person do it all the time, but having it the same consistency,
Exactly.
quality.
If something happens to me, my business needs to still run. If something happens to my assistant and I need to get another one, my business still needs to run. And it makes it a lot easier if something happens with her and I got to get somebody else to fill in or have to hire someone else to be like, here's how we do it. Here's the document. Let me roll through this with you, and then you be able to take it from there, instead of me being like, oh, my assistant is not available. Now Danielle has to jump in and do all the things and spend all of the hours getting things done. Of course, as a CEO, I feel like I'm always be in the know and know how to do all of the things in my company in case I need to, but really in case I need to teach somebody else too, because I don't want to do any of those things anymore.
Then also you can measure everything. Since you know everything, you can see if they're doing it correctly.
Right. And that's the role that I play a lot of times in my company, especially over the last few months as I've been growing the team, is to just be able to see if things are rolling the way they're supposed to. So, to be able to check in and be like, hey, this was supposed to be scheduled for this time and it didn't happen, or, where are we with this? So I'm just here to kind of provide some checks and balances, but to give it away and let the team handle it.
Yeah, that's important. Try to get you just take yourself out of the role, letting your whole team do it. I like that trust. But let's talk about Black Business Boom. I was reading your mission statement. I love it. It says the mission is to empower, educate, and inspire digital entrepreneurship and Black communities to reduce economic inequality. I love that. So when did you start that again? Uh,
We launched Black Business Boom 2018.
okay.
Totally different company. Business model has changed completely since then. We started as the Groupon for Black-owned businesses. So many times when people Google us, all of the articles will come out talking about us being Groupon for Black-owned businesses. But we found that we were really struggling with the onboarding of a lot of Black-owned businesses because they didn't have a digital presence. So we were like trying to help people get a website so that we can get them on our platform. And so, long story short, pandemic hit, and we just decided at that point we were going to scrap the coupons and go full force with really empowering Black entrepreneurs to use digital marketing. Since then, we have taught thousands of Black-owned businesses through free webinars or our cohorts that we offer in partnership with partners like Black Chambers and incubation centers and entrepreneur centers across the country. So
Can you
we're
talk
all
more about the structure of it? Like I see,
yeah.
like you teach a lot of people.
Yeah. So, like I said, sometimes we just do free webinars, and we want to provide this information. We want to get it out there to folks. So sometimes we'll just do free webinars, usually every quarter, to teach something. But then we work with partners like Black Chambers of Commerce, entrepreneur centers, any small business development organization. And we basically are the plug and play solution for them to be able to upskill the business owners that they work with. So we come in and we plan programming. Sometimes we even partner with those organizations to just do a webinar. But in most cases, we're doing a cohort that's 6 to 12 weeks of virtual classes that we offer on topics ranging from branding and using tools like Canva to copywriting to Facebook ads and your social media strategy. And we work with the partner to determine what's the best content to deliver to their audience. They invite the people and we show up and we teach. Most of our cohorts also offer some sort of free services as well. So we have one launching next week in partnership with one of our corporate partners. We have 50 business owners coming through that program, all free of charge. They get 12 weeks of classes. There are actually 17 classes they get access to. They're all live via Zoom. We have tons of digital marketing experts that are coming in to deliver that content, and many of those are folks that work for companies like GoDaddy, that are experts and also provide some sort of free access to their platform. So it's again a win-win for those partners as well. Everyone gets access to services as well. So everyone gets a $2,000 marketing package. And then everyone also gets access to marketing coaches. So they get 2 calls, virtual calls with a marketing coach. And we have over 20 marketing coaches in our system for them to choose from based on where they feel like their need is. So we have PR specialists, we have social media specialists, we have Facebook ad specialists, copywriting specialists. So you can really choose where you feel like you need the help and choose a person to sit down and talk with about whatever it is for 30 minutes. And I'm really excited. We've made the program a lot more robust. So this is our first go around with this more robust programming. And we'll have 2 of those programs running this year, at least 2. So I'm really excited about the growth and just being able to touch another couple hundred businesses this year.
How can people reach out if they want to partner or attend the courses?
So blackbusinessboom.com is where you can reach us. You can submit an inquiry there on the site. We can always email us at info@blackbusinessboom.com or email myself directly at Danielle@blackbusinessboom.com. We work with this corporate partner that also has done loans and grants for Black-owned businesses. So they really select the folks based on who's participated in one of their previous programs for the free programming I just mentioned. But we have tons of other opportunities coming up this year. So good time to plug in, get on our email list, and get notified about those things. We actually are launching an initiative this month or this next month to train over 100,000 Black-owned businesses by 2030. So we are definitely looking for partners that have networks of Black-owned businesses that we can partner with to reach that goal. We're looking for corporate sponsors that want to reach Black-owned businesses and support the growth of Black-owned businesses as part of their DEI or corporate social responsibility goals. So we're open to all conversations. But if you're interested in Booming University cohort, then again, you can go to the website and just submit a form there, and we'll notify you as we have opportunities coming up. Black-owned Nashville is our directory. We have about 1,500 local Black-owned businesses in the directory. It's what I consider a passion project. It's not like something we're doing because we want to make money. We really want to give exposure to these businesses. I actually have a Facebook group here in Nashville called Black People Making Moves. Has about 33,000 members that are all Black people in Middle Tennessee. And so when in 2020, folks were like, we want to support Black-owned businesses and we don't know how to find them. We had all these random lists floating around and all that. I decided to use the resources I had to launch the directory. So we launched with about 500 businesses 2 years ago. We're about 1,500 now. And again, just all about getting exposure for those businesses. We also have a team of experts on our Black-owned Nashville team that come to us every month and educate the Black-owned Nashville audience on something. We have a variety of different topics. So just really all about getting exposure for local businesses, but also giving those businesses a platform and giving them an opportunity to learn from experts that can help business owners and experts that can really help our community as well.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, helping my audience understand what they need to improve on, whether it's becoming more in a digital or marketing where they can go to. I know they really appreciate that. I do. I own a brand and 2 businesses, so I definitely needed that information. But my last question is, I wanted to ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years with your business?
That's a hard question for me to answer. Ideally, I'd be retired. So that's my goal. I really want to retire in 5 years. So that may look like selling the business. It may look like me, having a strong enough team that I don't have to really be in the role of CEO anymore. But either way, again, we really have this goal of training over 100,000 business owners. So as long as we're moving in that direction and make that happen, then I'm happy. And so I just see us we want to touch at least 15 to 20,000 businesses every year and provide them some sort of value in order to help them grow. I don't want a lot of shine. I want to fall to the background and just do the work and let the work that we're doing speak for itself, and hopefully have several corporate partners that understand that when they support Black-owned businesses, they support the growth of the overall economy. So those are the things that are at the forefront of my mind, having the right partnerships that allow us to thrive. But Danielle, personally, being out of the equation as much as possible and on somebody's beach most of the time. So that